Hello everyone. Let's review shlokas 86 and 87 in Lalita Sahasranamam. Prabhāvatī prabhārūpā prasiddhā parameśvarī mūlaprakṛti ravyaktā'-vyakta svarūpiṇī vyāpinī vividhākārā vidyā'vidyā svarūpiṇī mahākāmeśa nayanā kumudāhlāda kaumudī. Let's look at the meanings of the namas. Prabhāvatī. Prabha means dazzling light, brilliance. So prabhāvatī means she is luminous. She is dazzling. Prabhārūpā. Prabhārūpā means she is the embodiment of light, or she is the personification of light. So she is in the form of light. Prasiddhā. Prasiddhā means one who is celebrated. Parameśvarī. Parameśvarī means one who is the supreme ruler. Mūlaprakṛti. Mūlaprakṛti means she is the primordial cause. That means she is the source of this universe, or the origin of this universe. Avyakta. Avyakta means indistinct. Means nothing can be differentiated. You cannot differentiate, because this ultimate reality is undescribable. It is not something anybody can experience. It is. And therefore she is indistinct. So avyakta here refers to Devi as the ultimate reality. Vyaktā'vyakta svarūpiṇī. So vyakta means manifest. Avyakta means unmanifest. Svarūpiṇī. So she is the form of both. She is both the manifest form as well as the unmanifest form. So if we say vyakti means a person, an identity. So that means it is defined. There are some boundaries. Something is clear. Avyakta means undefined. So she is both what is manifested as well as unmanifested. And the ultimate reality goes through certain stages of manifestation before it manifests. So anything in those stages of manifestation is also Devi herself. Vyāpinī. Vyāpinī means all-pervading. That means she is everywhere. Vividhākārā. Akaram means shape. Vividha means variety. So she has variety of forms. Everything that we see in this universe is that ultimate reality, which is Lalita. Therefore, she has multiple forms. All the different people we see, the animals that we see, the trees, the plants, the shrubs, name it, everything is that ultimate reality, and therefore she is in many forms. Vidyā'vidyā svarūpiṇī. So she is both the knowledge and ignorance. She is in the form of knowledge as well as ignorance. And it's not that one is better than the other. The ignorance, the fundamental ignorance called Maya, is necessary for the world to go around, for creation to happen. So she is also that ignorance, and then she is also the knowledge. And she decides when to lift the veil of ignorance and move us to knowledge. mahākāmeśa nayanā kumudāhlāda kaumudī. So mahākāmeśa is Shiva. Nayanā means eyes. So kumuda means lily. And āhlāda means to delight. And kaumudī means moonlight. So the lily will bloom in the night. So when the moon comes, the lily will bloom. So that's called as lily becoming happy when it sees the moonlight. Like that, Shiva's eyes become happy when he sees Shakti. So she gladdens Shiva's eyes, or she gladdens Shiva. She makes Shiva happy. And if you see, Shiva is called as Shankara. Shankara is Sham karoti iti Shankaraha. So Sham means happiness. Karoti means create. One who creates happiness is called as Shankara. And who gives happiness to Shiva? That is Devi, Lalita. So when Shiva sees Shakti, he becomes happy. So she is the happiness of Shiva. So that's one way to look at it. But there is another way also to look at it. So kaumudī is moonlight. So Shakti is the light, and moon always references the mind. It is a metaphor for mind. And nayanā means to lead. So like Nayaka is a leader, nayanā means one who leads. So mahākāmeśa is Shiva. She is the light that leads our mind to Shiva. And so what happens when she leads us to Shiva? Kumudāhlāda can be looked at. Kumudāhlāda. Ku means lesser. Muda means desire. So lesser desires. And the lesser desires could be wanting materialistic things, worldly things, right? So she is the light who focuses our mind and leads us to Shiva so that we can drop our lesser desires and achieve what? Āhlāda. Āhlāda is delight, which is also can be interpreted as bliss. So she is the light that leads our mind, focuses our mind, and takes us towards Shiva so that our lesser desires can be turned into bliss. We can drop our lesser desires and achieve eternal bliss. So she is that light that leads us. And that's why Shakti is also called as Chandra Ganta. Chandra means moon and Ganta means bell. So Chandra Ganta is one of the Navadurgas. So during Navaratri, we celebrate the goddess in different forms in each day. So day 1 is Shailaputri, Brahmacharini. Day 3 is Chandraganta. So Chandraganta is a goddess who has the moon in the form of a bell on her forehead. And she has a golden hue. She's completely golden, and she has 10 hands, and one hand has the Abhaya Mudra, the other hand is holding the bell, and in all the remaining hands she has weapons. She's always ready to go fight any demons, and therefore she'll protect all her devotees. But to her devotees, she blesses them with spiritual devotion. She allows us the ability to have bhakti. And when we have bhakti, she allows us the ability to focus our mind on spiritual things. And with that, she leads us to Shiva so that we can become stress-free and live a happy life. So let's look at a story about Chandraganta. So we all know that Lalita's, the whole story, the origin of Lalita began with the Devas seeking some relief from Tarakasura. So Tarakasura was a demon who had been given a boon that he can only be killed by Shiva or Shiva's son. But at that time, Sati had immolated herself, and after that Shiva went off on a long penance. So there was nobody to deal with Tarakasura. So the Devas were suffering, and that's why they hatched a plan to somehow make Shiva come out of his penance. In the meantime, after Sati immolated herself, Himavan, who is the king of Himalayas, and his wife Menavati really desired a daughter. And so Menavati did a long penance for 27 years looking for a daughter, and she wanted Parvati herself to be her daughter. So after that long penance, she was blessed, and therefore Parvati came as her daughter. So Parvati had grown up by then. So they made a plan that if Parvati is in front of Shiva and Manmada puts a arrow, then Shiva might fall in love with Parvati, and then they can have a child who can come and deal with Tarakasura. So we all know that whole plan went awry, and instead of falling in love with Parvati, Shiva burnt Manmada. So as soon as Shiva burnt Manmada, everybody understood the rage of Shiva. So Brahma absconded from that place, Indra and everybody, they ran away. And even Shiva himself, to cool himself down, left that place. But Parvati was still standing there. She was supposed to be standing in front of Shiva. And Parvati was completely terrified looking at the fury of Shiva, and she also felt very dejected because so many people put a plan for Shiva to fall in love with her. And so with this, she just ran away. She went home, and after some time she was thinking about it, and then she realized, a Mahayogi like Shiva is not going to fall for external looks. So to first come up with a plan to put a arrow and make Shiva fall in love with her was itself not the right thing. So if you want to attain Shiva, she realized that you should want Shiva with all of your being. So the entire core, every minute you should only be thinking about him. Every cell in your body should want Shiva. Only then you can attain Shiva. And once this realization came upon her, she decided to go to the forest and do a tapas. And Menavati, who is Parvati's mom, was really stunned with this kind of a response from her daughter. First of all, for Menavati, she never understood why Himavan agreed to let Parvati be part of this plan. So one day Parvati had a dream that she was standing next to Shiva and they were marrying. And immediately after that, sage Narada came to Himavan and he told Himavan that she is destined for Shiva. And therefore Himavan allowed for all of that. But for Menavati, her daughter is the princess of the kingdom, right? And her husband is the king of Himalayas. So she can marry any prince. There are so many handsome people. There are so many kings who will be ready to marry her. She never understood why they are trying to get her married to Shiva. And now, not just that plan didn't work, and now her daughter has to go into the forest and do all this penance. And there will be lots of, dangerous creatures in the forest. And her daughter is delicately raised. She's a princess. She lived in the palace. She didn't want her to go do all these austerities. So she said, "Oh, child, please don't do it." That's why she's called as Uma. Oh, ma, don't. Oh, child, don't. And that's why she's called as Uma. But Parvati was steadfast in her commitment to Shiva. She said, "No, I'm going to do this." So she went to the forest, and initially she started doing the penance by eating fruits. She was consuming some food, and then slowly she let go of eating fruits, and then she just consumed some leaves that can sustain her. And after a while, she also let go of the leaves. And that's why we call Parvati Aparna, because she let go of all the food. Aparna. So she let go of all the food. And then her penance was not just not eating anything, it was more intense. During the summer months, she would stand in the ring of fire and then pray to Shiva. And in the winter months, she will stand on the ice and pray. And you can imagine it's Himalayas, it's snowing, and so she's standing on that. So her prayer was that intense, and with all of her being, she was praying towards Shiva, wanting to attain him. And now this slowly the intensity of her penance started to increase, and that energy was being felt by everybody in the universe. And so Brahma immediately went to Shiva and said, "Her energy is increasing. If you let it go like this, it will create an imbalance in the universe. So now you need to go and acknowledge her." So Shiva was not immediately pleased, even after all of this tapas, which was so intense. He wanted to test her. So he sent the Saptarishis and he wanted to go see how committed she is. So the Saptarishis came, and there were two girls who were also helping Parvati in her penance. So they came and they wanted to talk to Parvati. So Parvati reached out to him. She saw they were rishis, right? So obviously she was respectful to them. And then the rishis started to ask her as to why she wants to marry Shiva. They kind of pointed out that, she is the daughter of Himalayas, and Menavati is so attached towards her. And she is a very beautiful woman, and, she's been raised so delicately. And she has so much property. She is the daughter of a king, so there is so much to her name. And there will be so many people who would be willing to marry her. But if you look at Shiva, first of all, we don't even know who his parents are. He's just came by himself. And then if you look at his looks, he has matted hair, he has ash all around his body, and he has 3 eyes, and he only wears tiger skin and elephant hide. And he doesn't even have any property to his name, and he doesn't even have a house, and all he has to do is to go live in a crematorium. So this is not even a good match for you. So why do you want to marry this Shiva? Let go and go marry someone who is suitable for you. Then Parvati tells them that only anyone who has bhakti, who has knowledge, jnanam, and vairagyam will understand Shiva. He is both the manifest and unmanifest. He is the ultimate reality. He is not someone that everybody can easily understand, and only people with the knowledge and bhakti and the detachment towards worldly things can understand him. And I understand Shiva, and therefore I only want him. and you said he's staying in the crematorium. That shows his infinite compassion. So everyone who's born will have to die one day, and they have to come to the crematorium, and he is there to make sure that everybody gets his blessings and his compassion. Otherwise, if he only stayed in a temple, only those who come to the temple will get his blessings. So he's trying to make sure even at the last minute people are able to get his blessings. So that's the infinite compassion and how devoted he is to his devotees. So if you don't understand Shiva, don't come and talk to me like this. Don't talk ill about him. And if you want to say anything ill about Shiva, please don't come here anymore. And I don't even want to listen to all of this, because it's not just speaking ill that is bad. Listening to someone speaking ill of Shiva is also bad. So please don't even show up here if you want to say negative things about Shiva. So then the Saptarishis were very pleased with the response. They went back, they reported to Shiva, and they said, she's completely devoted to you. And then Shiva now decided that he himself will go test her. So he comes as a Brahmin, and then same thing, he says, this guy has no parentage. Why do you want to marry him? And then she says, you think he has no parentage, but everything in this universe manifested from him. So he's the origin of this universe. So I don't even want to talk about why Shiva is not good enough for me. Already she has met one of the Saptarishis. While they were talking, suddenly they heard a child crying. So when she rushed there, she saw that in the nearby pond, there was a little boy who was being pulled by a crocodile. And so immediately she told the crocodile, let go of the boy. And the crocodile looked at Parvati, and she said, and the crocodile said, why should I let go? If I just eat this boy, today's lunch is done for me, so there is a benefit. What benefit do I get if I let go listening to you? There is nothing, no benefit for me. So then Parvati said, okay, tell me then, what is it that you want so that you can let go of that boy? And so the crocodile said, I've been watching you. You've been doing intense penance towards Shiva, so you must have accumulated a lot of benefits out of that penance. If you are willing to give all those benefits back to me, then I'll let go of this boy. So instantly Parvati said, okay, fine. I'll give you all the benefits of the penance that I did. Then you can please let go of this boy. And then the crocodile said, okay, but remember, only because you did that penance, you can attain Shiva. But if you give me everything, then you won't be able to attain Shiva. Are you okay with that? If you want to think one more time, that's okay. Just because first time you said yes, I won't hold you to it. Think one more time. If you give me all the penance, then how will you attain Shiva? Then she said, no, even if I have to do all that penance again, I have enough devotion towards Shiva that I will be able to do it. And if it takes many years, I'll still do it. But if you eat this boy today, then that boy will die. Therefore, I'll give you the results now, all the benefits of the tapas, but you please let go of the boy. So in that instant, the boy and the crocodile vanished, and Shiva showed up there. Shiva was testing her to see how good is her devotion towards herself and also her compassion towards others, right? It's in wanting something for herself, she was not so selfish. When it came to saving something, someone else, then she was able to give it away. And if she has to be Shiva's wife, who is Shankara, who creates happiness for others, she has to be Shankari. She has to place others' happiness ahead of her. So therefore, Shiva understood that she is ready to be his wife, and therefore he told her that he would go back to your house. I'll send the people and we'll arrange for the marriage. So Parvati went back to her house, and then Narada and all the Saptarishis along with the Saptamatas, they all went to Himavan's house, and now both parties spoke and the date of the marriage was fixed and all preparations were happening. On the groom's side, this is Shiva's marriage. So this is a grand affair. Anybody and everybody has an invite, right? So Brahma is ready and he's going to be the priest for the wedding. And then there is Vishnu and his entire set. They're all getting ready. All the ganas of the Shiva ganas, they're all getting ready. Even Bhuta, Preta, all the Nagaloka, all the ghosts, everything is getting ready. Everybody has an invite. And on the groom's side, 2 days, there is amazing festivities. Shiva is nicely decked up, and there is music, there is dance, and there is all of this going on. Finally, the groom's party now is leaving to the bride's house. So the procession, the marriage procession starts. It's a really long procession, and Shiva is sitting on the bull and going to Himavan's house. And then as soon as they reached the limits of the city, Himavan got the message, and so he came all the way to the end of the city, and then he received Shiva, and now the procession is coming. So Narada already went to Himavan's house, and now Menavati is really eager to see the groom. Right? From the beginning, she never bought into this idea of her daughter marrying Shiva, and she's already a little bit upset that her daughter had to go through so much austerities in order to marry this person, and she still doesn't know whether this is worth it, because she doesn't know who this Shiva is. So she's eager to see the groom, and so she's standing in the balcony and she's waiting to see the groom. And so this is a long procession with so many thousands of people. So everybody is walking, and Sage Narada is standing next to Menavati on the balcony. So first she sees Varuna and Vayu walk up. They look so handsome. She's thinking, oh, one of these must be the groom there. He's pretty handsome. I can see that he's worth all these austerities. So she turns to Narada and says, is one of them the groom? And Narada says, no. They are Varuna and Vayu. They are Devas. They are not Shiva. He's coming in the back. Then after some time, the procession keeps going. And then now Indra is coming along. As we all know, Indra is a handsome man, So he is brilliant, glowing, and he's walking. Now Menavati is really sure. Okay, this must be the groom. He is dazzling. So she thinks, oh, is this the groom? He's very good looking. And then Narada says, no, this is Vasava. He's Indra. He is the king of Devas. This is not your groom. This is not your daughter's groom. He will come. And then the procession keeps going. And then now Vishnu is coming. And now you can imagine, Vishnu is so handsome, and he has this amazing smile, and he has a pleasant look on his face. And Vishnu is the kind where he's always well dressed, and anyone who looks at him will instantly like him. There is no way you cannot like Vishnu. And now Menavati is sure that, there cannot be anyone more beautiful than him. And therefore, this must be the groom. And she's very excited. And she's like, now, I can now see why she did all these austerities for marrying Shiva. And then she asks Narada, is that the groom? And then Narada says, no, that's Vishnu. He's a favorite of Shiva. That is not the groom. The groom is coming. He's behind. And then she's waiting, and she's wondering now, this definitely is going to be better, because I saw Varuna and Vayu, and then Indra looked better than that. And then I saw Vishnu, who looked much better than Indra. Now I'm sure Shiva will be very handsome. So she's waiting now. She's really eager. And then in a while, the Narada is pointing her and saying, now there is Shiva, see? And then she's turning, she's trying to look where he is pointing to, and then finally she spots where he's pointing, and there Shiva is sitting on a bull. He has 5 heads, he has 3 eyes, and he has he's wearing tiger skin, and he's wearing elephant hide, and he has a trishul in one hand, he has a skull in another hand, and he has matted hair, and his entire body is smeared with ash. And there are snakes that are on his neck. And so that's the Shiva that she's seeing. And she is, around Shiva, it's all terrorizing ghosts and pretas and bhuta, pishasha. Everything is standing there. This is, she's never seen a more terrifying sight than that. And Menavati instantly faints. And so then now there is a commotion. The bride's mother has fainted, so everybody is trying to wake her up, and after some time she wakes up, and now she is beside herself. She's throwing a fit, and she's saying, you know what, Why on earth would you want to get our daughter married to someone like that? He looks hideous, and he's wearing all this tiger skin and elephant skin, and he has all this mated hair. He looks very unkempt, and he doesn't seem to have any property or anything like that. Why would our daughter marry someone like that? She is the daughter of a king. She is a princess, and she's so beautiful, and I had done so much penance in order to get her as my daughter. I raised her so delicately, and I'm so attached with her. Why would you do this? And then Himavan says, we should not interfere with the divine ways, and she is destined for Shiva, so she should marry Shiva. And then she is getting so mad, and then Menavati says, if these Saptarishis or Saptamatas show up anywhere near me, I will teach them a lesson. How dare they come and talk to me and try to find an alliance for someone who's looking like this. And then she goes to Parvati and she says, are you mad? You want to marry someone like this? You will ruin your life. You better stop this marriage right now, and then I'll find a good groom for you. And then Parvati says that, see mom, everybody cannot see Shiva. If you're able to see Shiva at least to this level, it's because of the penance that I did that you're able to see Shiva. If you need to see Shiva, you have to have the right mindset. You have to look at it in the right way. Only then Shiva will be seen. Menavati was not having any of that. She thought her daughter has gotten crazy and she's fallen in love and now is talking nonsense, and she's throwing a fit. The entire marriage is coming to a halt. At that time, Parvati takes the form as Chandraghanta. So Chandraghanta has 10 hands, and initially she takes a terrorizing form. And as soon as she takes that form, everybody is startled, inclusive of Shiva. Everybody is startled. And so immediately that everything that was a chaos suddenly becomes a still, and then she rings the bell, which makes everybody focus on what she's saying. And then she walks up to Shiva and she asks Shiva to bless Menavati, so she is able to see him as the handsome prince. So then Shiva blesses, and therefore Menavati now is granted the ability to see Shiva, and now he looks like the most handsome person. There has never been a person more handsome than him, and therefore he is called as Sundara Murti or Kalyana Sundara. And with that the marriage proceeds. So that's the story of Chandraghanta. And as you can see, she, Chandraghanta, led Menavati, focused her mind, and she got her the blessing of Shiva so that she can see Shiva the way he is, and she can see the handsome prince, which made her happy. So that is the mahākāmeśa nayanā kumudāhlāda kaumudī. And there is also a message in all of this, right? So if you look at all of us, our perception is what defines our life experience. Right? So it is the way we see things. It's not what it is, but it is how we interpret it. That's what drives our life experience. So sometimes when we change the way we see, what we see changes. So this is one way, even if this does not take us to the eternal bliss, by having the right perception, by looking at things in the right way, we can make our everyday life happier, more sweeter, or less stressful. So sometimes, if it is we don't like someone, then we tend to look at everything that they say with a level of suspicion, or we try to dismiss anything that they might say, just because there is something that is about them that we don't like, right? Sometimes in those cases, questioning our perception and say, am I looking at this the right way? Or sometimes a certain situation may be outside of our comfort zone, and therefore we may not be even willing to try it. But if we had tried it, it may lead to something nice. So at that time, questioning, is that the right perception? So sometimes when we change the way we see, what we see changes. And that is a good lesson to take out of the Menavati and Shiva, the Leela there, because Menavati was very externally focused. At that point, she was not able to see Shiva for who he is. And even, when your mind is not focused, even if God is standing in front of you, you can't see. And then after she got Shiva's blessing, she was able to see him in the right way. So that's a lesson to take out of it. That's all for today. Thank you.